dokey. At least everything is working, looks like. Alright, brake's over. Same thing, except you get your chance.
Sure.
Yeah.
Alright, so what I see here is him already off balance, leaning over and compromised. He's got two long levers connected to my wrist.
Now you're in the one position,
Yeah,
or one first gear, and
He's all the way in sixth gear already. He's on the balance, he's on the verge of falling, so I can continue to go in the same direction that he is, and he's going to fall. Or I could try to go the other direction and use some leverage, depending on how much resistance there might be.
but if you overdo it too much, what happens?
It gives him a chance to move.
So you have to be a little. See, supposedly I should have moved my legs, but for some reason you can't. It just doesn't feel like it's enough for you to move your legs, and then by that point you're already just balanced already on the ground.
As opposed to me taking that big step.
Yeah. Because if you're taking the big step, I'm following right along.
It's like dancing now, it doesn't work.
Right.
So I could also go straight down to bring him around if you want to keep him in front of you. I'm still in first gear, he's just put himself in sixth gear. He's already got motion going this direction, so I've got a lever here, and I've got a lever here that's locked onto my wrist. All I have to do is continue using his motion and his energy to continue making him go the way I want him to.
And the false sense of security.
Yeah.
Thought I had him.
This situation, again, I'm in first gear. I can take a look as to which way I want to go. I see that he's already compromised to the right-hand side, so I can take a step back and put him in a position where he's just falling down. He's already falling on me. This situation here has got two levers, and the body's compromised. So I can twist the body to lock it back in because it's not straight up and down any longer. By pushing down on one lever, either one that might be giving less or more resistance. Sometimes if you give one resistance to one, as they start to push back, you can give them the opposite reaction that they're looking for.
And as you can see, this is why we were falling, rolling, doing all those things. In the previous videos, in almost every video, that camera is off. We're looking at the floor. Because as he dropped me, for instance, if I would have been tense, I would have and got hurt. Because I was relaxed, just like a pillow.
And doing our rolls and our exercises before we do this relaxes our body and allows us to remember how to do this as we're practicing. Okay, so this hand's immobilized for this moment.
I'm thinking I'm getting this pushing motion
Got
going
this
on.
motion. So he's going in this direction, so I can either choose to have him go in front of me or behind me. I see that his head's already in front of me, so it's a lot easier to throw him back because he's not expecting to go in that direction. So all I do is twist. In this situation here, you can want to initially do one of two things. You're going to turn your head to either left or right so that you can continue to speak and breathe, or initially just pull straight down and go with him in the direction that he's pulling you, which is down. Now at this point he's going to be in an off position leaning forward. I can choose either left or right at this point and use either knee to roll him over.
Roll right down that plate.
In this situation, this arm, he's feeling as though it's immobilized.
Yeah, like I got him and there's another guy coming at him from that side.
Right, so I can throw him in the situation where the guy is coming by using the lever that I have here. All the way from the top of his head to his midsection is one locked in lever. He's locked in tight on me and concentrating on my hand, so he's already pushing and pulling down. I'm giving him his same motions, the same power and energy, giving it back to him. The guy that's coming at me is in this way.
That's right. Or you could do from this point compression backwards.
Same thing with the head or shoulder. Use any of these lever points and go backwards if there's some attack coming in behind you.
And once again, that false sense of security, I think I got his arm.
And you can't hold on to anything if you're falling that close. Okay, now
like he's got something in his hand and I'm grabbing him because there's another guy coming in from somewhere.
he's going forward. He wants to continue going that way. I'm going to allow him to do so. I can either lock in his thumbs and I can push down and make him roll. Or, as I'm in this position, he's wanting to go forward. We're both in 6th gear at this point, but both of his hands are in use. I still have one remaining, and he's got a lever again from the top of his
But
head.
then there's
to his
also
midsection.
another pivot point, if you see, right off on my knee.
Yeah, he's on a pivot point there off his knee. I can simply just push weight on it with my shoulder. I wouldn't even need to use my hand.
Just that easy.
Or if he's in that same position there and want to use my hand and I don't want to use my weight, you can simply just push down on his head.
Same thing.
Or
I'm holding on to it. I'm holding on to it. I got nothing.
if someone else has this hand and he's on this one, you still have your feet.
Now you can deal with the other guy.
In the same way, or any other way needed.
Okay. Somebody coming in from this side. Try to grab them both legs.
Okay, so he's got me in. I'm still in 1st gear. He's all the way compromised in 6th gear already. I don't have the ability to push down on this point because he's got a good anchor here. So what I can easily do is just pull back on it. Very similar situation here. He's got the same leg anchored, but he's on the other side of the body at this point. So I can't push down, or I can't pull back any longer, but it does give me ability the opposite way, which now is pushing. Alright, so he's got the opposite of where we worked before, where he's pulling the arm forward, but now he's pulling it forward. You want to make him go in the same direction that they're wanting to go in. So you can simply push down on any lever that you see. There's all 4 of them.
Or, as I have him here, in that same direction. Keep going down. No, into the hip.
Oh, pushing into the hip, yeah.
There's your. Because if somebody's grabbing you quick, you know, you might not have the luxury to go ahead and reach over and do all that. But if it's already, there's his hip right here.
Yeah.
And now you can deal with the other people.
Okay, so when you've got your hands, this is a classic move. People just grab your hands, they're not sure what to do once they do it, so it gives you the opportunity. A few things you can do at this point, where we're both in 1st gear, neither one of us are off balance.
We're all in the same identical spot.
So if
We're
I'm
both in what? 6th gear, let's say.
So I can continue to choose myself. If he's pulling on me, I can continue to let him go forward.
Which gives me then the opportunity to do something with him. Because we're both in the same position.
Same spot. If I choose to pull and go in my position, he's a little more compromised, and at this point you can.
If I take a step forward,
Yeah, he's still got a position here where there's levers open.
yep.
You still have an opportunity with him grabbing onto you. You're both locked in whether or not who's grabbing.
Right, because you can, either one has the, we're right now, if you look at us, we are not 2 machines. We're 1 machine now. because we're in the same contact. And either one of the units has the ability to move the other one. Like if I move him here, take a look. I'm moving myself in order to move him. Now if he moves himself, now he moved me. If I move him, then he can go back and move me just the same. You see? So now the question is, who's got more in here and not in here?
And sometimes it has to do with what we're going to go into in a moment, which is which way they're resisting. So equal resistance here, you can try to lift and lower one or either hand at the same time. In doing so, it throws both of us off kilter. But if you're in the same motion and you don't stop, they generally go forward.
Go for the old stuff.
Okay, so the classic grasp, and you're
I got him.
You're in custody now.
You're in custody.
So I can see that he's in a position where he's comfortable because I'm in front of him and he's got a grasp. Like we talked before, if we step forward and give a little bit more.
Now he's comfortable and I'm not.
And he's in my care.
The only thing, you don't want me to hold on to this
And
with
fall.
all my might and fall because I'm going to break it.
So I'm going to go down first, knowing that's the direction he's going, and keep his wrist relaxed the whole time so he can't hurt it.
At some point as you're falling, you feel like you need to let go.
You can't hold on any longer, especially at impact. And as your other hand is now free, it's obviously is throwing punches if need be. So we're in this position here.
You're disbalanced.
I'm disbalanced now. I can continue to go in his direction, but I want to throw him in a twist in the same way so that he locks in.
And you want to release your hand as well.
Yep, release my hand. So I want to push where I have leverage here. I've got a lever that's my own, that's locked in tight against his
And
shoulder.
there is the pivot point right here. There's another pivot point which could be used.
So if I use the only thing I have right now available to me, which is my weight, and I was to push on his shoulder and bring my hand towards me, it's going to give me the advantage.
Be careful with that one, Jim, because you're aching for me to actually
Just pull on.
break it. Yeah.
Okay.
Because if I'm holding it like this, if you were bringing me back, you have your other hand that's free.
Right.
Release the hand.
Okay. So it hit the hand as a. There we go. Much easier.
Much easier. Because for one, you're getting. Do that to me. Okay. Look at what you're seeing right here.
Right.
What are you seeing?
Stop coming at my face.
Something coming at your face, but all of a sudden there's already something happening somewhere else.
Right.
Not really at your face, but right here. Possibly even on your face.
Right.
See what I mean? So, but as you release that, your hand is no more in the tension position, right? And the other hand is already right there where you need it to be.
Got it.
Okay. You want to still continue working this, or you feel?
No, let's switch.
Something else? Okay.
Do the next. We'll do resistance, 6 points, and then from there we can do punches, rolls, roll out, or how do you want to?
Well, I mean, if we haven't worked a whole lot on time.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do
Because we do 6 points almost every time anyway.
Okay.
I think we're still going to do them, but I don't feel like we're resting on it.
Right.
Now, let me go ahead and explain a little bit more on the gears, right? Let's see. If, well, this is the speed lever in this case, or we can look at it, what do you show?
First gear, 6th gear.
Yeah, just from, the further out from the body you get, this is the 6th gear, right? I call it the 6th gear. If you want, you can have a 10-speed transmission for all I care. It's just, it seems feasible to make it 6. But it also works in the opposite way from this pivot point. Now all of a sudden I made a pivot point. This is my first gear right here. This is my first gear now, And this is becoming my 6th gear all the way out here. After this has become a pivot point, a solid pivot point, not a floating pivot point. If it's floating, you screwed up, because if it's floating, all of a sudden you're getting hit. You know, if it's solid, then he's the one that's going and moving around with what that lever is intending to do. Fine. If it's not one, then it's the other. But no, what I was trying to say for punches, right? If we're going to work on those, right? You can have the deep hit to where you're, for one, you're trying to be conspicuous where your hits are coming from. So you don't want to do this over. You don't want to make these stances really. So you want to be able to throw a punch like a chain. The more relaxed you are, the less you're using of energy. Now in his case, he has to be relaxed, absorb the energy, and then give it back. Right? So boom. Right. What I was saying about gears though is, as you can see, we can hit like this. This is 6th gear, right? That I'm hitting with. Okay? We can also hit with the 3rd gear, putting more mass to it. We can also hit with the 1st gear from here to here, putting even more mass on it, in essence. But because we're covering a large area, it's dispersed a lot more. So what we're getting more is like a push rather than a hit. The more relaxed you are, the more you're throwing a heavier dumbbell. So I mean, in essence, project it like this. Rather than my hand here, just imagine this like on the rope. I got this big old dumbbell. And what I'm doing is, boom, just throwing that dumbbell, right? Well, what do you think would hurt more? A 10-pound arm hitting that's tense and with all that muscular strength just holding everything back, or a dumbbell, so you have velocity plus mass equals what? Big kaboom.
Power,
Big kaboom, let's say. So the idea here with the gears though is, for instance, as we were working on, remember I was showing you the exercise where you can actually do this constantly throughout your day, where you're not limited by going out to the gym, or you're not limited by coming out here and do these training exercises where there's a door, right? So if there's a door, what is it that I'm doing by opening the door? I'm going from a 6th gear, so let's say I'm opening, let's say this is the door, right? It's closed, okay? So as I crack it open a little bit, I go ahead and slide my arm in, and I'm going from 6th gear to all the way, let's say, to 2nd gear, right? Like so. And then I'm moving that 2nd gear to the 1st gear position, and then just barreling through, right? So what ends up happening here in let's say, a scenario where this is a person, right? As I'm being hit, like you're punching me, I can move that 6th gear. I'm moving that 6th gear, and also I can go ahead and provide retaliation at the same time. Just by the virtue of stepping forward. If I needed to, let's say I have a gun, for instance, right? And let's say he's attacking me, but he's not part of my worry. Because let's say he doesn't have a gun in this scenario, right? But there's another couple of guys behind him that have a gun. One of them, let's say, has a gun, or both of them have a gun. But because I'm standing there kind of like, look, I'm the victim, and there's 3 people total. 2 guys have the guns, and this guy is trying to be the you know, one of those, hey, blah, 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 blah. Where's my money? Let's say that type of a notion, right? So as he's doing that, like he's gonna go ahead and push me, right? Go ahead. Like he's pushing me, I already pulled out my gun, and I can either go boom, shoot here, or I can go ahead and again, just go right past him by making that wedge forward. I just go right past him and go boom, boom. Now all of a sudden, here's this guy, boom. So there's your 3 victims right there that were intending on me becoming the victim. Right? So because he's closer does not necessarily mean that he should be the first victim, right? As they're the attackers, but now, let's do it again. So as I have the gun, I'm just going forward. See? Just like this. Boom, boom. Just to push through, right? Because we didn't work on this one much, Jim, right?
No.
Because this is also, if we're doing it slowly, a good way of working the levers as well. If somebody is pushing you, trying to grab you, because we've done this, it's just we didn't emphasize on how you're going from gear to gear.
Right.
Right? So this is where see where I'm putting a lot just by the virtue of moving it from here to here.
Yep.
Right?
Like a wedge.
Like a wedge, exactly. And if there's 2 people standing side by side, sometimes you actually, maybe they're your 2 friends, right? Maybe you're in a group. You're all on the same side, you know? Maybe there's 4 guys standing there. But all of a sudden there's a threat from behind, and let's say you do need a gun, you just boom, barrel right through them, as they didn't even have a chance to turn around or do nothing, you're already engaged in those targets. If they're versed in the same thing you are, then the rest of them start turning that way and engaging targets. Or maybe they'll just, if you guys work it out to where everybody drops off to either side, maybe just rolls back, right? Okay, let's work on the punches a little bit. Do you remember which kind we had?
Which one you want to do?
Not one, all 3.
Okay.
What 3 impacts?
Okay, so let's.
No. So you're going for the spots.
Oh.
I'm saying which punches did we have? You have the deep.
The 3 deep. Okay.
What else?
The grazing.
Okay.
And then the direction.
So let's work on those a little bit.
Sure.
Okay. And then we can take those and switch out to 6 points and rolls and try and take and combine all that.
Combine all 3 together.
Okay. So let's say you start first,
Okay.
or you want me to start for whichever one.
Okay.
Let's start first. My notion is to keep relaxed. So the idea is here, not that I'm standing here to get punched, right? Maybe there's multiple attackers. I'll get punched irregardless from someone, I'm sure. So the whole idea is not to get tensed up.
Right.
So you're learning to just keep absolutely relaxed. So let's say one punch, good. Like he's hitting, this would have been a deep hit, right? Boom, give it to the other guy, right? Or let's say I moved away, good, just keep going. Moved away. I allowed him to hit me. He didn't hit me under his conditions. He hit me because there was the spot, it was open, and it looked like there was a hit. So he was hitting, I allowed him to hit in order for me to get a maximum hit to a more advantageous area, in other words. So as let's say he's down for the count, maybe somebody else is coming from another side.
Transferring here.
Now, you're used to this because you've been working on this with Dima, and these are they're the deeper hits, right? But as you're getting hit here, these are just directional ones, right?
Right.
So if I'm hitting here, okay? So now also if you're doing just like when we're working on these, same thing, go ahead like you're hitting me. Remember how we were doing with the knife?
Right.
These are the ones we were not working on. Remember?
Right.
With Demo, we weren't working on these. Because you have these, and he doesn't like these for some reason. I don't know why, but he doesn't. But as you were attacking, right? Let's say a general attack. Maybe somebody's trying to grab. Okay, good. Like somebody trying to grab, just by the virtue of, you know, you're doing that, or, good. There was, the next one was coming down, that was going to be the one that was going to end.
Right.
Right? So, these were basically hits. They're not doing damage. What they are is they're sliding and they're topical. Right? But they smart. And they smart in such a way that they're directional. They change your whole modum operandum. As you were trying to attack, you're all of a sudden not. Right? As you're attacking with the arm, just by the virtue of stepping back, what psychological state are you in right now?
Fear.
Fear. All of a sudden it's coming back, there's good reason to be feared. Right? What you want to do is you want to make your maximum attacks in the same trajectory as you were being attacked. Because from here, try to divert that. Only if somebody knows what they're doing, right? Try to change it. There you go. Only if somebody knows what they're doing, see? Maybe elbow? No. See you getting hit. Well, since this is the 6th gear, right? What do you need to do? Whoop. Which means somebody knows what they're doing, again. Rather than, so, remember, getting closer. In which way?
Walk in.
In which way did I get closer? As you were hitting?
Twisting.
Pulling and twisting. So if you take a look, I went from 6th gear and just kind of rolled right along. Now I'm where I want to be.
Same thing you do with the stick and the knife.
Mm-hmm. So, good one? You have another hand, don't you?
Okay.
Okay, so if I'm coming, maybe. How about just combing your hair then? It's not, I mean, it's right there, right? So, go ahead. So as he's right here, I'm trying to get him into a position. Now I can actually punch, right? So, hold on. So we're working punch and countermeasure. What can be done here? Boom. That is. Well, yep. So as I'm bringing him down, now I'm hitting. That would have been quite the punch, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So measure, countermeasure. As you see, I'm trying not to, if I'm taking it, right, I'm trying not to just go, oof, or, oof, or, oof, you know. As you can see, anything that's happening here is happening with this free-floating movement, right? So in this same case, as free-floating as it would have been happening, right?
Yep. All one fluid motion.
Right? And now what? As I'm coming, oh! kind of sloppy. Work? See? All the times, what am I doing? I'm just balancing it, right? What was the reason to go up?
Confusion.
Confusion. Diversion. What was the reason for the hit?
Diversion.
So, basically, you can have very aggressive folks running at you. Try and do an aggressive run, for instance. Just by you being smooth and pliable, you're not really what was that?
2x4.
I hope so. If it was a gun, it sounded kind of weird. Yeah.
That's smacking
That nose is actually one hell of a that's that wedge effect. Except this time it was with the leg. Right?
Right.
Start getting disoriented, isn't it? So, we're working with Dima, right? Try and mix whatever you feel like it, but mix in what we're working together with you.
Okay.
And me, you know, because you don't get to do that too much. So either you could take it and then try and see how that'll work, or you want me to keep going with that?
Yeah.
Just like with a knife. See, all of a sudden, what's... Is that what... muscle memory.
Yeah.
That wasn't much thinking.
No, it's automatic.
Take a breather.
Okay.
Or you want to do a little more?
A little bit more.
Let's do it slow. What happened there? Stop. Why wasn't that correct?
Let it take the punch.
No. You didn't move your feet. Yep. Again. Nope. You got hit. Again. Good. Ah. Just like the knife. Up. You can also go side to side. Go. Just like with the knife. Just like with the knife. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Ooh. You gave it to me.
I did.